At 68, I had come to accept that some chapters of my life had quietly closed. My name is Elaine, and I had been widowed for nearly 6 years. After Mark passed away, the world lost its color for a time. We'd been together for 43 years. He was my first love, my partner, my constant. When he was gone, I poured myself into the lives of my children and grandchildren. Their laughter and chaos kept the silence at bay. But inside, a stillness had taken root. I kept busy, gardening, knitting, volunteering at the local library. People would say, "Elaine, you're so full of energy." And I'd smile politely. But the truth was, my days felt like pages in a well-worn book. Predictable, quiet, safe. Then came Noah. He was 47, a friend of my daughter's husband. A carpenter by trade, he came over to repair the back deck one warm April afternoon. I remember the moment clearly. The air smelled of lilacs. The breeze had just begun to whisper of spring. And there he was, tool belt slung over his shoulder, smile as easy as the wind. "Noah, right?" I greeted him from the porch. "That's me," he replied, flashing a grin that made his eyes crinkle at the edges. "You must be Elaine." What was supposed to be a quick repair turned into hours. He worked efficiently, but never in a hurry, and every so often, he'd stop to chat. We talked about the old oak tree in the backyard, how the neighborhood had changed, and his recent hiking trip to the Rockies. I hadn't spoken to a man like that in years, not since Mark. And yet, there was no awkwardness, no discomfort, just warmth. Over the next few weeks, he came by often, sometimes for small repairs, sometimes just to bring over fresh bread from a bakery he loved. We'd sit on the porch with coffee and talk about life, about music, about nothing at all. I found myself anticipating his visits, feeling a small flutter in my chest when I'd hear his truck pull into the driveway. One afternoon, while I was pruning my roses, he leaned against the porch railing and said, "You know, Elaine, there's a peace in your presence, like sitting near a fireplace on a cold night." I laughed softly. "That's quite a compliment. Thank you." "I mean it," he said, his voice steady. "I've never met anyone quite like you." I didn't know what to say. The words caught somewhere between disbelief and a strange, quiet joy. Was it possible that someone saw me like that? The shift between us was subtle but undeniable. His visits became longer, our conversations deeper. He began asking questions about my childhood, my dreams before I became a wife and mother, and the places I still wanted to see. No one had asked me those things in years. One evening, a thunderstorm rolled in unexpectedly. He was here helping rearrange some boxes in the attic. When the rain began, he offered to stay a while, not wanting to drive in the downpour. We settled in the living room with tea and a plate of warm cookies. There was a moment of quiet between us as the rain pattered gently against the windows. "Noah," I began, unsure of where I was going. I'm not used to this, your company, this feeling. I thought I'd left all that behind long ago." He set his cup down and looked at me with such gentleness. "Elaine, you're not some old story. You're still writing new pages, every day." My eyes stung with unexpected tears, but I'm 21 years older than you. I know, he said without hesitation, and I've never cared. What I see when I look at you isn't a number. It's strength, grace, humor, a beauty that doesn't fade. I looked away, unsure whether to laugh or cry. Then he reached out, his hand barely brushing mine. I felt a warmth spread from my fingertips all the way to my heart. For the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't feel invisible. I didn't feel old. I felt wanted. I'd like to kiss you, he said quietly, his voice low and sincere, if you'll let me. Time seemed to pause. Yes, I whispered. The kiss was tender, soft, filled with reverence, like he understood how fragile and rare the moment was. I closed my eyes and let myself feel everything. The heartbeat I thought had quieted, the stirring of hope I had long buried. That night we talked until the rain stopped, about fear, about the future, about whether this, whatever it was, could be real. And somehow, it was. In the days that followed, our bond only deepened. We walked through the park, went to the local farmer's market, and danced in the kitchen while dinner simmered. My children were surprised at first, unsure of how to respond. But over time, they saw the change in me, the brightness that had returned to my eyes, the bounce in my step, and slowly they came to accept him. One evening, sitting under the stars on the back porch, I told Noah, I never expected this. I thought my time for love was over. He took my hand and kissed it gently. Love doesn't wear a watch, Elaine. Now, as I reflect on these past months, I marvel at how life can surprise you. How a single person can awaken a part of your soul you thought had gone to sleep forever. Noah didn't just repair my deck, he helped repair my heart. I've stopped counting years now. I count moments, laughter, shared glances, quiet nights, and joyful mornings. And every time he smiles at me, I'm reminded that it's never too late to be loved again. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you in our next video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated.